Given the litany of charges leveled by the opposition, led by the Congress, against the Enforcement Directorate, would you concede that the Supreme Court judgment today has really deflated a lot of the sound and the fury that the opposition was flinging at the government? Now, the ED and the government can just turn around and say, look at what the Supreme Court has said and stay shut. Let the agency do its job. Adi.
Well, Mr. Kanwal, firstly, you're conflating multiple issues. The fact that the Enforcement Directorate is selectively leaking investigation details to the media by itself, ipso facto, demonstrates that the objective of the ED is to sully the good name of the Congress. But be that as it may, the viewers and the country are watching. Now, coming to the Supreme Court judgment, the Supreme Court was adjudicating on certain challenges with regard to the amendments of 2018 and 19. We respect the judgment of the Supreme Court. However, we do believe, and we do sincerely believe, that the Supreme Court should have indeed delved into the consistent and the malicious pattern in which the ED has been deployed against opposition leaders. Now, one specific, how is it that the moment the opposition leaders switch their allegiance to the BJP, the ED cases go into the cold storage? How is it that the ED is only used against opposition leaders? Now, we have statistics, and I happen to see your Twitter feed. You have put out statistics that there has been a meteoric rise in the use of ED and the registration of the cases. But what is the conviction rate? The conviction rate is a dismal 23 cases since 2002. So what does this demonstrate? The ED has become a tool in the hands of the BJP to silence its critics and its dissenters. Now, coming to the Supreme Court judgment, there are several issues. It's a 545-page judgment. We respect the judgment. However, we did expect that given that this government is anchored in vendetta, this government is anchored in malicious prosecution, there was a necessity to have safeguards. Safeguards which protects the rights and liberties of individuals.
Okay, let Nalin Kohli respond to your many points, starting with selective leaking of investigation details, one-sided attacks on members of the opposition, virtually no one in the BJP or its allies is being probed, and that this is a government and an agency anchored in vendetta. Let's take a first response from Nalin Kohli.
I'll answer that later. I'd first like to point out that we have a judgment by a three-judge bench on a batch of almost 240 cases. And the Honorable Supreme Court is a court that will adjudicate matters on legal positions in terms of the constitutional validity of any section or act, not based on any political party's desires on what it should adjudicate and how it should adjudicate. So the Congress party is this double-edged thing. We respect it, but they should have seen it. I would respectfully say is an incorrect position in both law and expectation. First things first. The Act itself is not a creation of the BJP. The Act itself is there to basically check money laundering and to check proceeds of crime. All the things that have been raised today have been put to rest. So I think we should stop the politicization of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which is an important act in the fight against black money, slush money and corruption. And the second part of it is that the Congress party or opposition parties should actually answer clearly before maligning both the Act as also the agency, that in every case where there has been a raid, is there not prima facie material which reported in the media that shows the existence of black money or proceeds of crime? 20 crore rupees in one case, 21 crore rupees in another case. These are not small sums of money.
No, sure, but you must respond to Adil's charge that this is selectively being done against members of the opposition. Nobody from the BJP or the allies seem to get raided.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, Rahul, but you'll have to give me the courtesy of answering in the manner that I would like to answer. No? Sure. I would build my case as I would prefer to build it, not in the manner in which my Congress colleagues would like me to build it. So, and that was going to be where I was leading it to. So I've lost the flow of it. So I'm going to start exactly where I left. That it can, each one of those cases shows the existence of a proceed of crime or at least unexplained large quantities of cash. Unexplained huge quantities. Now the fundamental is people in public office, in this case several opposition leaders, with limited means as per their own income tax records, if they have unexplicable things, the answer cannot be a sort of a perverse expectation of Article 14. That, oh, till you don't rate somebody in the BJP, till then you can't be saying that these are correct. These are correct in their own right. They should be complemented. You have a problem, B has a problem, C has a problem, go file a private complaint. Who has stopped you to take evidence and go and file a private complaint in the court? Are the courts all under section 200 of the CRPC? Are the courts and the judges in the pocket of the BJP? Number two, let's come to the Sonia Gandhi case which has been raised. In all these years, that the 10 years that this case has been there prior to the Narendra Modi government coming, what answer have they given to the fact that a political party is funding a company? I mean, our political party is to act as banks, and then this whole funding should lead to the takeover of that company by an entity owned by the Gandhi family.